and welcome back to the finals. I've done one of these videos for every single season of the finals, including the open beta way back when, and I want to share with you some of my controller settings, but I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to give you a version of controller settings if you have no accessories on your controller. I play with accessories on my controller almost exclusively. I can't play on controller now. I've gotten so used to it unless I get digital click triggers and I've got foam around my thumbstick or in a thumbstick extender. But I am going to give you settings that work without those because I know some of the settings I've been getting with my different games that I give the controller settings with. People throw on max sensitivity that I use, and it feels crazy because you don't have those accessories that make it really easy to control. So I'm going to explain what I pick for my competitive settings, and then I'm going to give you recommendations for if you're just starting out on a default controller. That way this video is helpful for all the new players that seem to be flooding into this game, finally realizing that this is better than most games out there. First things first though, we're going to go into the general gameplay settings. These are things that are going to apply to both of you, beginners and advanced players. Preferred region, make sure this is on wherever you live. The only frustrating thing about the finals is going to be your server issues. That's what's causing most frustrations for players game to game. Make sure this is on your region. If it isn't, or if it's on automatic, you're going to be having some issues because it's going to try and force you into some lobbies that you shouldn't be because your ping is terrible. Make sure you have that where you live. I live in North America. That's where I'm going to have it on here. Crossplay, even if the option wasn't grayed out, I don't know why it is. I always have it on. I want to be playing against people that are better, not worse, because the finals is a game where you don't want to pub stomp. The finals is a game where you want to continuously be getting better. Auto sprint needs to be on. And auto sprint trigger delay needs to be on 0. I had someone come into my chat say they would play more of the finals, but you don't sprint right away, so the game feels clunky. Having to click in the sprint button every single time that you want to move is frustrating, and I definitely agree. I cannot play without it auto sprinting immediately. It wasn't like this. Fun fact, yeah, it wasn't like this when this game first came out. They added this setting in, I think, halfway through season 1 or season 2. Completely makes the game playable for me. Now, if you play just terminal attack or you play single life modes, you're a very tactical player. Maybe you play heavy and you're slow paced, it matches it. You want to be able to control when you can sprint and when you have your weapon up and level. Then just keep this on maybe 0.05, in between 0.01 to 0.05, but I recommend to have it on 0. This is so you can you can be fighting someone, shooting, and then you can immediately slide. So what I like to do is if I'm shooting and I'm missing my shots, I go, oh crap, and he's hitting his, I need to reset this gunfight or I'm gonna lose. I'm shooting and then I just hit a slide over here and then I keep shooting. It makes them miss some of theirs. In gunfights like that, it's who has the most ammo at the end of the day, unless you're using the bow or a melee weapon. So if he is hitting more shots than I've hit, I'm halfway through my mag and I've missed all those shots. A good way to reset is boom, boom, boom. I just slide to the right and I keep shooting. That way he's still shooting in that area that I was, spends a few bullets in his magazine, and all of a sudden it equals out the gunfight. We both miss the same amount of bullets. And then after that slide, I got to make sure I hit those shots. It's just a good way to reset the gunfight if you're either get snuck up on or you're just completely whiffing your shots for whatever reason. You can't do that without auto sprint because you come straight out of this and into a slide, and if you don't know, you have to be in a sprint to be sliding. So that's why that's helpful to me. Gyro, I wish I could touch on gyro, man. I am in the process of learning gyro, I promise. Whether it's through Steam, in a bunch of different games, I'm trying to master this setting. If you are Giga Chad and know about gyro, please let me know in the comments. Give some recommendations to people. This completely removes your need for aim assist because gyro is just as accurate as someone who's on keyboard and mouse. That's why I really want to learn it. I would love to detach myself from my need of aim assist, but again, if you know about gyro and you got some tips for me learning, or people who are watching this video that need tips for learning gyro, please drop that in the comments below. Definitely embark on this journey if you're a beginner controller player. Gyro is the way to go. I'm on my way there. These are my accessibility settings. I don't run colorblind mode. I think the game looks great how it is right now. I'm going to get rid of my face cam again and my cam too. Invert flashbang color. This is the only one over here that I need you guys to turn on. I don't like to get completely blinded by white light. So if you turn this on, it'll fade to black instead of white, especially if you're playing at nighttime or not in a well-lit area. This will quite literally save your vision. Motion blur. So a lot of people like this. I turn it off because it helps you competitively. Like you can see more when you're moving around. Everything stays crisp. But a lot of people keep motion blur on because it looks more cinematic. This game is a very cinematic game, so it's more preference based. If you want more of a movie feel looking type of game, I would put it on. But if you're going into ranked or you're going into push for World Tour, you're trying to get better at the game, the most competitive setting is going to be on disabled. I'm going to play with it enabled for a little while. Here are my audio settings. Master volume 96. I don't want it maxed out, and I also have an audio mixer so I can turn up and down outside of the setting. I also have tinnitus from my time in the Marine Corps, so I don't have it maxed out just to protect my ear the little bit that might do. I have my music turned down almost all the way down because I like to add music into my videos myself. I recommend you turn this up. The Finals has some of the best music in gaming history, in my opinion. I put it right behind Halo. Maybe I'm biased. I love this game, but I would definitely turn this up. I wouldn't match this setting of mine. I only have this so low because I like to add my own my music to my videos, and if it's playing, then I'm playing 2 songs at the same time. Dialogue volume. This is like call-outs from your teammates. If you are solo queuing, turn this on high, either 100, between 75 and 100. When you use something on your dialogue wheel, like, oh, we're pushing A, or go push the cash box, or I need help, or I need healing, their character will actually yell that out from their character's mouth, and this is the volume you'll hear that on. You will see the actual ping in the game environment and in the little chat, but just to be safe, in my experience when I'm solo queuing, this really helps. You hear them very clearly in game, so it helps a lot. I would have this between 75 and 100. These are my settings for these subtitles. I have off. We can go over my video settings. I am running a 4070 Ti and an i9 10700K. I'm just gonna run through. I am no expert, so I've gotten my setting recommendations from a lot of people. Now, something here. I run high settings for visuals, right? That's not very competitive. If you see some of the most competitive players in the scene, I think they'll run low for more frames. But since I make content, anything else, I like my game to look good because, you know, I'm making things for people to look at. So I keep it on high. This runs really well for me. As you can see, like in the top right, I'm still in like the 190s. I never really dip below 120 in frames, and that's really all I need in my experience. So if you want like max frames, just run it on low and then keep texture on like medium. View distance, keep that on high. Everything other than that, just keep it on low. You'll get more frames. But from all the other like references I've gotten from other creators that are more competitive than me, it's an amalgamation of what I like to see in game that looks good and what they say is competitive. So here's what I'm running. If you are interested, these are my video settings. And then now we'll get into my controller settings. The only thing is here, field of view. I would go anywhere between 90 and 100. If you struggle hitting your shots, go towards 90. If you are, this is another one of those beginner settings. If you are a beginner, start at 90. Start at 90, and once you start getting a little like, ooh, I'm kind of moving, like I'm kind of doing pretty well, I would definitely go in and start raising this to 95. You start doing well again, bring it back up to 100. It'll just make you see more around you. But the further in it is, 1, the more aim assist you'll get, and 2, the easier it'll be to control your recoil. All right, without further ado, let's get into my controller settings. Okay, so this is what I'm running now. If you're interested in copy and pasting my settings, here are all of them. But there are a few things that have changed since the last time I've gone through all of these. One of the biggest being, I am now on directional wheel. So I used to have in the bottom right, I didn't have this grid of things on the top left and side. I hit my left on my D-pad and I can hit this directional wheel. I was having issues when I would interact with something like, say, a zip line here, right? My button to equip my AK or my primary weapon was the same button I would use for the zip line. So I was having issues like hitting zip line, demoing into something, bringing my weapon back out, and then starting to shoot. It was really getting in the way. It was becoming a really frustrating issue. So I started watching around, and I was like, what was I doing at the beginning of the game come out? And I found out, oh, I was on directional wheel. I let someone convince me that that was not the way to go. The time it takes to bring out some of the equipment completely mitigates like the advantage you get from pressing one button. So I thought the advantage would be just pressing one button and bringing it out, but I can do that just as fast. Like, this is me I'm fighting, bring out my demo. Obviously, it's just triangle on my controller. I bring it out right away. But if I'm shooting, I want to bring out my jump pad. It's the exact same speed, so you're not losing any advantage, especially once you get some muscle memory down on where it is on the directional wheel. And then I can bring it out, and I just click in my left stick to bring out my primary weapon, obviously. So I'm freeing up space on my controller, which is one of the things in this game. You need to be smart about utilizing every single button on your controller, because there's so much you can do in this game on the fly. But the directional wheel is one change I made this season. Immediately started playing better because I can space out some of my stuff. So I don't want you to copy my bindings. I do have, this is a brand new controller for me, but I do have paddles on the back. Just a quick explanation as you see my bindings. This is right on my D-pad. This is left on my D-pad. This is triangle, and this is X, or square. This is square for reload. So this is demo. This is my specialization. This is reload. This is melee. And this is my directional pad, right? This is interact with stuff in the world. And then, obviously, like, this is jump. And then these are my aim and shoot buttons. And then to bring up my weapon, I'm clicking in my left stick here, and then I slide with my right stick. So keep that in mind when I'm going over my bindings. I'm going to show my bindings again. The issue I was having is when I would go to, so weapon, I would have click in, right? It's my left stick click for weapon. I would also, my interact and equip weapon. I didn't have anything here, but I had this on left stick click. So interact and equip weapon. Make sure these two buttons, ignore the one in the center, make sure these two buttons are different. I had this empty, this slot empty, and then I had this with just left stick click. So I would interact with stuff in game with left stick click and also equip my weapon, which is a big issue. I'd have my this is a perfect example, my zipline out, and then to hit zipline, I'd still have something in my hand like demo. I would be on the zipline running away, and I can't equip my weapon in that time. I couldn't, because it would be my interact button. So I'd be hit around zip lines. I wouldn't be able to get my weapon out and fight people. It would make for some really awkward gunfights. But now I can, like, make zipline plays and, like, come hit the zipline, jump off of it, demo something, and then bring my weapon back out, and it still all works. That is the advantage of going directional wheel. That is a new change I've made just now. I made it yesterday. So I really highly recommend you do that. And the reason I wasn't using it was completely debunked. Like, the time it takes me to get out a one weapon press equipment and the directional wheel, not worth it. Definitely go with the directional wheel. Okay, everything else. Focal length scaling. Make sure you have this on. This is helpful for me. Now let me explain my settings, why I pick them, and what I would recommend if you're a beginner. If you are a beginner, you just got the finals, what I want you to do is I want you to go 235 and 215, okay? Now, keep these the same. Now, I have foam on my controller. It's going to look really, really slow on mine, but your recoil control and your aim is going to feel amazing. Now, the issue with me here, I got to cover my eyes so it focuses. See, you see my thumbstick extender here and that purple around the base of my thumbstick? Wrong thumbstick, right here. That's foam. It's hard foam. So then if I push all the way out to the edge, it pushes against my thumbstick a little bit. The best way I can describe why that's helpful to me is if you're just holding a gun in real life. Here, we'll go to my face cam. If you're holding a gun in real life, like a pistol, you see someone, and you're going like this and with one arm, and you're shooting, it's going to be kind of hard to stay on target, right? Like you're shooting, recon's crazy. But if you bring this hand underneath, and you're pushing your hand, your wrist, into the top of your bottom hand, that pressure, like you're pushing up with this hand, and you're pushing down with this hand. The equalization of pressure from both of them equalizes out, obviously, and keeps it steady, right? And that's how you aim with a pistol in real life. The best way I can describe this is you're giving the pressure of this way, and the foam is giving pressure this way. That pressure meeting, that equalization, gives you the control to pick exactly between all the way that way and all the way this way. And instead of pushing to keep it there, you like pull up on your push to let the foam keep your thumb there. It makes you so much more accurate. I guess I timed out of my my time in the firing range, but whatever, we can still explain the rest. So this is what I'm going to recommend for you guys. If you don't have any foam, let me make it so you guys can see. If you don't have any foam, right? 235, 215. Once you get used to that, start moving up. Your goal, no matter what, if you are playing a controller game that has crossplay against keyboard and mouse players, is to get to here. Whatever it is. Even if this went to 2,000, I don't care. Your goal is to be able to control the max sensitivity in that game. If you can control it 100%, you are at a better advantage. If you can't control it, you look like an idiot just flinging around with your head cut off. You look like those YY TikToker kids from COD that obviously can't aim and they're just moving around to move around that does anything to give you advantage. If you can control it, it's actually impressive and it gives you a real in-game advantage. But slowly move it up. Start with 235 and 215. Keep everything the same. All right. So, everything else. I'm going to scroll through as I go so you can see it. I've done a lot of playing with both of these. I've gone up to like 65 and 45 down here. I always come back to 40, 35. I don't know what it is. If you're using the sniper on light, though, and you like to drag scope, if you know what I'm talking about, then change the setting. If you don't, then don't. Just keep it on 35. If you're using, if you like to drag scope and you're using the pike or the sniper, one-shot guns with scopes, bring this to 115. Keep everything the same. Bring this to 115. Do not forget to bring it back when you go to a normal weapon. Unfortunately, the finals does not have a custom sensitivity per zoom like most first-person shooters. I don't know why they don't. I think most of the devs play on keyboard and mouse. That's probably why. I have to change this setting every single time that I want to play with a sniper. It's unfortunate, but that's just what you're going to do. If you are an aggressive sniper in other games and you like to be a little bit faster in your scope, you like to scope in and you like to flick and hit shots, you're not allowed to do that on controller unless you put your scope sensitivity multiplier up to above 100%. That's a little tip there that I picked up when I'm playing sniper. Again, we talked about focal length sensitivity scaling. Keep that on. That is helpful. These settings right here. Vertical and horizontal look boost, some of the most important settings in any game that has them. Marvel Rivals just added these. I was super excited when they did. I did a big explanation. These make it so, okay? Especially if you have foam on your controller. When you go all the way to the edge of your stick, these boosts are enabled. Now, I am going to have to load into the practice range to give you an example. You want these maxed out. Now, 500, 440. Vertical isn't as important as horizontal because when you're flicking to someone, when you're hitting that outside edge of your controller, you're going, oh crap, someone's behind me, usually. Once you get used to it, you get into like a flow state of when you want to like fling around, come around. It kind of feels like a wave, but say I'm shooting. I get I'm only using the inside of my right thumbstick, like little fine movements. This is why we're running max sensitivity, because of these boosts. Little fine movements, right? Without the boost, I can do little tracking. Oh crap, someone's behind me. It flicks me around and hits that max sensitivity. Right there. So I'm like boom, 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 boom. I can track while he's moving, tracking, and then oh crap, someone's behind me, and I can kind of swing around. The only time I'm using the outside edge of my right stick is when I want to swing around, like this. And then I can fight around, and then I can swing all the way around. I had a little bit of seizure there. You want horizontal on 500 no matter what. If it feels like you're getting too much of a boost up and down when you're maxing out up and down, like you find yourself using the settings I have now, and you're kind of doing this, all of a sudden it feels like it's jumping up or jumping all the way down to your feet. You can bring the horizontal down, or not horizontal, the vertical down. Start with this somewhere low. Don't keep it on 0 because sometimes people jump. This is a very like, movement-based game, so you don't want to put yourself at a disadvantage. But this is definitely something you're going to want to grow over time and get used to. Keep this on 0. Because once you hit that outside of your stick, you want it to happen immediately. But you need to get used to aiming with just the inside of your stick or using these boosts. I use these zoom boosts need to not be as high. This is when you're zooming, like when you're ADS. So people, especially when you're fighting lights with dash, is good. He'll be here and then he'll dash over. If you don't have any zoom boost on, you'll have to go and use your slow ADS sense to get all the way over there, and they will completely break your camera. You can mitigate that issue by going like this and trying to relock on him with aim assist. I hate crutching aim assist that hard. Again, I'm kind of... It just feels like you're not relying on skill, and I hate that in video games. I know I'm a controller player, but... So try, if you use those boosts, I try to use the boost instead of relocking aim assist. If you're panicked, definitely just spam ADS and you will lock back onto him. But if he's dashing to the right, you can use that boost and it kind of gives you a faster track, and you'll get over to him again. That's what that is for. Make that higher if you fight a lot of a lot of dash lights, but I find 65-35 perfect for me. If it bothers you at all, put it on 0. Try that lock-on method. Everything else. This is really important, 0-0. I have the 2 controllers I use, right? Neither of these have stick drift. They're damn near immune to stick drift because they use magnets in their thumbsticks. It's called, this has Hall Effect sticks, and these have TMR sticks. I got this controller yesterday. TMR is the new technology that outdates Hall Effect. Hall Effect and TMR both use magnets instead of springs. What happens in a normal controller is you're pushing these thumbsticks left and right or whatever, and then eventually a spring gets loose, and it stays in a loose state in one direction. That's what gives you your stick drift. I buy a lot of custom controllers, so what I hate is spending $250 on a custom controller, and it's useless because it has stick drift. Sometimes I still use them. Stick drift is a good way to enable aim assist in games that crutch it, like Call of Duty, so I don't throw them away if you do, but maybe I'll put a guide on how to use stick drift to your advantage. But that's later on. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But I have mine on 0. I'm explaining this setting. Both of my aiming and movement inner dead zones are on 0 because I have TMR sticks. You probably don't, unless you have a custom controller. So this needs to be anywhere between 0 and 4. If you need to bring it higher, what you do here, right? This is your right stick. This is your left stick, to explain. If you bring these up, right, and you're still moving like this without touching your thumbstick, and you are at 4 on whichever thumbstick it is, you need a new controller. I'm sorry. You need a new controller. After 4, you start creating a competitive disadvantage to you, because your reaction time is going to start hurting, and everything's going to, especially aiming, like you're going to have to push past that center point of your thumbstick to start making adjustments, and this is such a movement-based game. If you have to go above 4 and into the 5 range, sit on it, sit at 5 for a while your controller ships. But if you want to be competitive, man, 4 is the time to start looking for a new controller, okay? Invert vertical look input. No, I'm not flying any planes in this game. Synthesidoidal is my favorite. A lot of people like linear a lot. I do too, actually. Linear is a great setting, especially with these boosts. Once you get used to it, it's really, really good. I would recommend linear or Synthesidoidal. This is like, Synthesidoidal is like an S, so like, I don't know how to explain it, but it behaves differently as you push your stick. It gives you more of an advantage. Since we use those boosts, the inner part of your thumbstick is slower and the outer part is faster. That's how I would explain that. Exponential is just like kind of a dip and an incline. The same type of idea as the S curve, but the S curve really matches the look boost philosophy, so this matches perfectly. Exponential always feels weird to me. Linear's great, and sinusoidal. I always get cooked in the comments because I say it wrong, but this is what I use. This is what I think feels best with vertical and horizontal look boosts. But if you are a linear king, a lot of Apex players came over from Apex over to here. I use linear on single shot people in Marvel Rivals. I use linear in Apex. Linear is a great setting, so it's just 1-to-1. How far you push your stick is how fast it goes, and then the boosts still give you an advantage on linear. It's just a bit more aggressive. So if you're on, I would start with sinusoidal, even if you're a beginner, and start there. And if you feel like you're really cooking, you could change to linear to kind of up your game a little bit. Just make sure you're always in control of your aim and your shots. But one of these 2 settings are what I would recommend. Equipment reel on preset. Just made this change. Huge change. I already explained to you why it's a good idea. You don't lose any advantage going to equipment wheel from anything else. Sprint behavior toggle. We have on auto sprint, so this doesn't matter for us. So you can have this. I just keep it default on toggle. Once you have that auto sprint delay on 0, obviously you sprint immediately, and that gives you a good advantage. Crouch, you want this on hold. Zoom, you want this on hold, and you want reload and pickup behavior on prioritize reload, right? The crouch behavior on hold is so when you release, you can shoot. I do this a lot. You can spam crouch while you're shooting. It makes it really hard to stay on target, especially if you're a light. People who are fighting you that have really good aim are going to be hitting headshots. If you are fighting someone like, say, who's using the pike or the revolver or the sniper who is really, really good at hitting their shots. I was fighting one in ranked yesterday. You see my live stream. You can start doing this, and they'll start shooting over your head, and then when they adjust to seeing you crouch, then they're hitting body shots. This is really, really good when I'm fighting someone with the FCAR or the AK. To level the playing ground if they've got big chunk damage weapons, especially if they're using the model, because you got to be a little bit more accurate with the model. That could help there. If they're using the Cerberus, they're just spraying and praying. You don't have to worry about them anyway. They're probably not good at the game. But if they're using the model, that could help. And maybe the heavy shotgun. And that is why you want that on hold, so you can spam crouch. That does give you an advantage. It's a little cheesy, but it helps. So zoom behavior. Some people like it on toggle. I just want to be out of ADS when I don't press the button. But what this setting is, just to explain, you're only ADS while you zoom in. So like I'm pressing, I'm ADS. I release, I'm not ADS. I press, I'm ADS. I release, I'm not ADS. If you had it on toggle, you just press it once and you would stay ADS, and then you press it again to un-ADS yourself. I don't know why people would like that. It's an extra button press, but hey, it's an option. I figured I'd explain what it does. Prioritize reload, prioritize pickup. If you shoot your mag out to 0 every single time, which is a really good habit to get into if you're using the ARN on light, you could try and create a play style where you can use prioritize pickup. If you're not around anything, you can still reload on demand. But say I'm next to this barrel and I need ammo. I'm at, like you see my ammo count. I'm at 4 and I'm about to start a gunfight. Oh, they're pushing me. I want to reload. If I'm hitting prioritize interact, I'm picking this up over and over again trying to reload. I'm not going to be able to reload, and I think that having bullets in your mag is more important. Obviously, this isn't something you can use, but most things in the arena is something you can use. But whatever's most important to you, prioritize react or prioritize interact. Wow, I'm having a seizure today. You press your reload button, you pick up this canister. Prioritize reload, you press your reload button, you reload your gun. That's the choice you're making with that setting. So whatever your playstyle is, if you're used to shooting mags out to 0 to start a reload, go ahead and be a crazy Giga Chad and throw on prioritize pickup. That way you're always using the stuff around you to your advantage. But I have it on prioritize reload. I think that's the smarter way to do it. But I want to give it an explanation there. Keep in mind, while you're looking at all my bindings, I'm going to show them for a little while here. I showed you what my paddles do on the back of my controller. This is how I hold my controller. My ring fingers hit these buttons, right? So melee again, equipment wheel. This is my specialization, so demo on medium, and then this is reload. This is why I have them set to this, right? So melee, that is one of my paddles. I crouch with my right stick. Whatever you do, okay? Whatever you do. This goes for every single game. You see this in almost all of my updated controller settings videos. Do not have jump on one of these. Jump and crouch, do not have them there. I do not care who you are. I don't care. I do not care if you're playing on console. I don't care if you're playing on a default controller. I don't care, okay? If you're jumping and sliding, you need to keep your thumbs on both of these thumbsticks. This is not a choice. Make this change now if you're watching this video. If it is cliche, people are saying, best controller settings to make you blah, blah, blah. None of these will immediately make you better. You have to get used to them. This will. This is the only advice I will give anyone on a controller settings video that will immediately make you better. Immediately. Once you are used to jumping and crouching with something that doesn't take your thumbs off of the thumbstick, you immediately become a better player. You go from this to this. aiming and tracking people while jumping, right? I can slide and shoot someone at the same time. If you have slide on circle, you have to go like this. Wait, I couldn't even do it, muscle memory. You have to go like this and then get up and go shoot them. Do it all at the same time. Being able to slide and track someone and jump and track someone, that's the whole philosophy around bunny hopping. You can't even bunny hop if you are not able to do that. So, also, bunny hopping is chaining movement together, right? So I come out of a slide jump and I keep my jump going. If you have jump on X or circle or A or B, because I grew up on Xbox, you're going like this. And then you're aiming at them after you hit jump, like, and adjust, jump, and adjust, jump, and adjust. Do it all at the same time. You need to be able to move your aim while you're sliding and while you're jumping. Keep your thumbs on your thumbsticks at all time. What I do and what I recommend, right, is we'll go and look at my bindings down here. So you can see all of them. I'll get rid of my face cam. Or it'll just come back. Wow, it'll just come back again. It's going to piss me off. What I do is after I run through all these, I jump with my left bumper. And what is going on with this? I jump with my left bumper and I crouch with my right stick by clicking it in, right? Here's my jump. This is going to be on X or A for you by default. You need to change that. You need to change it, right? I hold my controller like this. I know a lot of you guys don't. A lot of people hold their controller like this. This is what people grow up using, right? You lift your finger up to hit the bumpers. What I recommend, right? If you can find another way to do what I'm doing now and follow that advice, I'm cool with that. You don't have to jump with what I jump with, but you have to keep your thumbs on the thumbsticks. I don't care. I shift your fingers from here to here. Okay? From here to here. Okay? This gives you a finger on all 4 buttons right here at all times. This lets me jump with this button, and then I can click in my right stick to slide. Right? Some people click in their left stick to jump. Cool. Your thumb is still on the thumbstick when you jump. I like that recommendation. If you don't have TMR or Hall effect sticks, keep in mind when you're clicking in your stick, that could cause some stick drift in the future. So the worst stick drift is a stick drift that goes on your right stick. So I slide with my right stick. If you want to use something else to slide to avoid stick drift, if you don't have one of these controllers, go ahead and do it. But that is my recommendation. Slide with right stick click, jump with left bumper. And that way, now some people get paddles on their pro controllers, like they have slide and jump over here to solve that issue. If you slide and jump with something that's already on the face of your controller here that you already have your fingers on, then all of a sudden, you got 4 free buttons for 4 different things. That's my philosophy there. I'm yapping a lot. This is becoming a longer video than I wanted it to be. I haven't posted a well-edited video in a while. These controller settings videos, I tend not to over-edit. I want it to feel genuine. I get pretty passionate about sharing what I've learned about controller because I feel like a lot of people haven't really dove into like S-curve and the advantages of using the inside of your controller versus the outside of the right stick. Trying to learn gyro. So I don't want this to be forever, but I didn't want to over-edit it. Hopefully this helped. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, please. If you are a gyro GigaChad who knows about gyro, for me, let me know some tips, okay? Because I'm trying to master gyro. If I'm ever gonna like compete, I think I want to do it with gyro so people can't take away some of my accolades because of aim assist. But if you are just starting on controller, okay, use all of my settings except for the base sensitivity. Bring those down into the mid 200s like what I suggested. Everything else, use what I suggested. Adjust them using the knowledge that I gave you. And then, especially if you're just starting out, this is one of your first games, you just picked up controller or console, your friends brought you into it, they said, hey, come play the finals, learn gyro. Why not? None of them are going to know. You're the only one that is going to be able to learn it. But if you can master gyro before you master using the thumbsticks, in 5 years, you're going to be a much better gamer than the majority of gamers out there. So go ahead and do that. And those are all of my settings. Hopefully this helped. If it didn't, let me know. If it did, let me know. I will see you guys in the next one with the rank grind, and peace.